And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. Now, Nick, this is potluck time. This is where we go around the table and we share our favorite stories of the day. We pick them. We produce our own segments.
How good is
It's tremendous.
Great.
It's a wonderful thing.
You're up first.
I never lead off, so this is huge.
Yeah.
And tonight, America, world, I want to talk about the power of political parody. Yes, alliteration is in the house. So you may or may not have seen last Saturday's Saturday Night Live clip of Kate McKinnon, who does a tremendous Hillary Clinton. And by the way, congratulations, Kate, because if Hillary wins the White House, you are set at least for the next 10 years. Just ask Tina Fey, just ask Daryl Hammond, just ask Will Ferrell, and so on. If you can do a good president or an imitation of a president, you're in great shape. But what does it do to the politician? In other words, there's shows like ours, panels, where we discuss what's going on in the political world all day, but for whatever reason, Saturday Night Live can really resonate with those who normally don't follow politics. By the way, if you did not see last Saturday's Hillary Saturday Night Live clip, well, guess what? We got it for you right now.
Hold up your phone and you can just look natural, okay? And maybe you want to soften a little. Okay, a little more. Okay, maybe a lot more. Great. Great, okay, and action.
Citizens, you will elect me. I will be your leader.
So let's try one where you don't say I or even your own name.
Okay, oh, that'll be easy. Got it. Hello, 'tis I, Hillary Clinton.
Let's stop again, okay? You said I and your full name immediately.
Yes, oh shoot, I did?
Yeah, but don't worry.
Okay.
We'll just delete that one off your phone.
Okay, well, know a thing or two about that, right? Oh, Christina, meet my hand in the air.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, good. I am running because I want to be a voice for women everywhere.
Did someone say women everywhere? Hillary would make a great president, and I would make an even greater first dude.
Thank you, Bill. That's not.
So, now, Lanny Davis was asked last night, do you think Hillary liked that? And he said, oh, yeah, he loves the parody and everything, but I wonder if Hillary's watching that. And she was like, okay, that hit a little bit too close to home, because it's getting a tremendous reaction. It's gone viral completely. So, and then I think back to other parodies that have happened on Saturday Night Live that have almost destroyed political careers altogether, like this one.
You know, Hillary and I don't agree on everything.
I believe that diplomacy should be the cornerstone of any foreign policy.
And I can see Russia from my house.
And then, of course, there was Will Ferrell doing George W. Bush.
On the job, making the tough decisions. 24/7. That's 24 hours a week. 7 months a year.
And we can go on and on, right? Chevy Chase doing Ford, and Carvey doing Bush the elder,
Senior, yeah.
right? And obviously Hammond doing Clinton. So, in the end, do you think that politicians like this sort of thing? I mean, it gets them out there,
Well,
but
yeah,
it's usually a negative thing.
It didn't do. It actually worked when Tina Fey. It kind of did cause Sarah Palin a problem.
Big time.
But I got to tell you, my favorite one was when Hillary Clinton came on with Amy Poehler playing her. If you've ever seen that one, I thought that did Hillary a world of good.
Palin did the same thing with
So,
Fey.
yeah.
And people actually think that Sarah Palin, to this day, said, I could see Russia from my house. But
which
she
she
said
did.
no such
Tina
thing.
Fey said it.
I get
It
confused.
became fact.
I became confused. Oh, is that the real Sarah Palin or is that the fake one? Because they were running past the camera and you couldn't really tell the two apart. So I think that it really reveals their spirit. And so a candidate should look at that and say, oh, maybe I need to change.
Or, right, you're right about that. I think it's a wake-up call, Nick.
Yeah, it's a great tradition. I mean, it really illuminates the character of the candidate that's running. And I think it can often capture exactly what people out in the general public are thinking. And it can either work for you or it can work against you. I mean, I thought that Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton clip there on Saturday Night Live, that was just absolutely phenomenal. I was laughing. I thought it was funny. I don't actually think it hurts Hillary Clinton. You know,
No, I
I
don't
think it
either. I think it
humanises her.
helps, yeah.
And you see Bill there, and I liked it.
You
But I gotta say, I don't
thought that
think-
humanized her?
I thought it.
I don't know about
You
that.
know,
I think it plays into a
I don't
caricature of
think
how
Kate-
many people.
Kate McKinnon doesn't have it down yet, though.
She's
Really?
working on it.
Yeah, I
It
don't
kind
Boy,
of
it's darn
reveals, I
close.
think, I was in D.C. yesterday and a cab driver said, there's the former office of your future president, and he pointed at the State Department. He said, you know what? You get a twofer, Bill and Hillary at the same time. And I thought, wow, that's an insight into how a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, yeah. People aren't going to dig that deep into policy. They may say, well, the 90s was pretty good. Belle Biv DeVoe, good economy, we're at peace. That's it. Anyway, more potluck when we come back on the Daily Wrap, live from New York City. You know, for once, that subway bumper, we show a subway going down in New York. What is that, an elevator, an L train, and it looks hot out. It's actually warm, finally, here in New York. Anyway, welcome back to Daily Wrap. I'm Joe Concha, and if you're middle of our potluck right now, we're sharing our favorite stories of the day. James, Velez, Mitchell, what do you got?
Well, what I have is Jodi Arias, and let's hope she's finally out of our lives. She murdered Travis Alexander back in 2008, and now it's 2015, and she just finally was sentenced. It only took all those years. And part of my point here, and I wrote a book about this, Expose the Secret Life of Jodi Arias. I mean, this is a very, very raunchy case.
Hey, look, we got a
there it
picture
is, yeah. It's a raunchy case. It's dripping with sexuality and
Whoa,
deception and all sorts of terrible things. But, I mean, she stabbed him 29 times. She slit his throat ear to ear. Why did it take so many years for us to get to the sentencing? And one of the reasons why is that the prosecution insisted on going for the death penalty. The first jury convicted her, then they hung on whether or not to kill her, and they could have gotten her life in prison. I don't think this judge would ever have let her out, but they decided, no, we're going to go for the death penalty. They wasted a lot of tax dollars, and they wasted a lot of time and caused a lot of agony, and at the end of the day, they got a second hung jury. So I think the prosecutor kind of snatched defeat from the jaws of victory here.
Well, you know what? There were victors in this. And it was CNN and HLN.
Yeah.
Especially HLN. I mean, Nancy Grace got,
Yeah.
Why
I mean,
do you
this
think they hung?
propelled her career for 3 years.
Well, it's very hard to take somebody that you've spent many months sitting and staring at and seeing every day. It's like being
killing
trapped in an elevator. You might hypothetically or theoretically say, yeah, I can go for the death penalty, but when that moment comes, especially if it's a pretty young woman
Right.
who has no criminal history, who was involved in a tawdry affair, I think she's a despicable, diabolical killer. But I do think that there are better ways to deal with this situation, and in the end, it only tortured the family more.
Didn't she ask for the death penalty at one point? She
Well,
said, I
she's-
want to be.
She's a pathological liar who 1 minute says, I want the death penalty, and the next minute she says, no, because I've got family. And this is a woman who, first denied she was there, then said ninjas killed him. Then she finally said, yeah, I did it in self-defense. And then she lied and said, well, I was in a fog. I don't remember anything about the killing. And then when she was sentenced this week, she said, well, Travis was conscious when I stuck the knife in him, and she practically decapitated him. So what a nasty thing to say to the family at the very end. They were hoping he was out of it by that time, to basically say, no, he was conscious when I slit his throat.
Joe, didn't the last trial not deliver the death penalty because there was one holdout? There was someone who didn't believe in the death penalty, is that right?
No, it wasn't that they didn't believe. There was a final holdout juror this time around, only one person, and there were all sorts of problems with her. She had watched part of the Jodi Arias Lifetime movie. She
Read your book.
I don't know if she read my book, but if she did, oh well.
I just can't believe, Nick Adams, that the ninja argument, the ninja excuse didn't work.
It's my favorite
I know.
defense.
Juries
buy that
Ninja
every time.
defense.
I would have gone there straight away, Joe. That would have been my first one. Forget even having an attorney representing me. The ninjas did it.
Ninjas.
Anyway, on that note, what did you bring to potluck?
Potluck today is something that will get us all excited, hopefully. So as I have been watching everything that's going on with Hillary Clinton, her announcement, the furor around a historical election, I've got to tell you that this all seems very familiar. This seems like a little bit of deja vu. And I've come to tell you that I've seen the movie and I know the ending. And I don't think that Americans are going to like the ending very much. In Australia, we had our first female Prime Minister. Her name was Julia Gillard. She got elected in 2010 under some contentious circumstances. Everything that we're hearing now with Hillary running, historical election, we were hearing then. And Julia Gillard was a very divisive Prime Minister. She was a liberal feminist, so she came from the same political tribe as Hillary Clinton, and she had a war on men. She deflected all criticisms of herself and her government as misogynistic and sexist. There was a general tightness in the culture. Men didn't feel comfortable being able to flirt and do different things. And I think that this is coming to a theatre in America very, very soon. And it's something that you should be very careful about, because right now America needs to be united, not divided.
Wow, Jane, you are shaking your head violently in agreement.
You know
love
what?
JVN.
I literally almost am speechless. The idea that because one person has certain private parts that are similar to another person's private parts, that means that there's a parallel universe going on between a woman in Australia and a woman
Julia
running for
Gillard
president.
just came out today and said she's going to do everything in her power to make Hillary Clinton President of the United States, and she and her were going to fight together sexism in America.
Well, that's her saying. That's not Hillary saying.
Possibly. But my point is that feminist leadership is different to female leadership. You don't want it here.
Well, listen, I think that you probably would have voted against giving women the right to vote
Not
if
at
you had
all.
been
I would
alive
have voted
back
for
in
Margaret
the...
Thatcher. Anyone.
Anyway, boy,
I don't need to say a word. I
But
think
I
the
love you. Wait a
argument
second.
speaks
I
for
love
itself.
the Australian PM looked a lot. Wow, look at that. Looked a lot like Claire Danes.
Was that sexual abuse?
Anyway, when we come back, it's Yay or Nay. This is the Daily Wrap on Newsmax.